Welcome back to News Geelong as we move into the world of Geelong sport with Mitch Scoop Cleary. London Olympics 2012 and AFL football in the headlines, Mitch.
Thanks, Rollo. I'm down here in Newcombe where I caught up with the lead troop to discuss the three-time Olympians' future prospects in the sport.
Yeah, no, obviously it hasn't really been a good 18 months for me ever since I've got the blood clot. I've seemed to have hit a few roadblocks, so I ran London last year and withdrew at 30k. Just with things not being right, and then I went back to the drawing board and trained really hard for Gold Coast Marathon last year, and I only ran 2:15, and I had a hamstring hip niggle about a week prior, and that lasted 4 months. I finally got over that, and then I worked really hard up to the marathon just this last weekend at Lake Biwa, and yeah, just the cold weather. My calf seized up at about 15k and I hobbled through to 29. So my last 3 attempts haven't been great, and now I just need to weigh up whether the next 10 weeks I have one more roll of the dice or I concede that it's just not going to happen, and look at maybe doing a couple of other marathons and yeah, map out the next few years.
Over the next 10 weeks, obviously your heart still wants to be a part of the racing with yourself to get your body right.
Look, for me, the greatest accolade you get is being an Olympian, and I've been fortunate enough to do it 3 times. I'd love to go to a 4th Olympics, to emulate Deacon Mona. The thing is, the mind's willing and the body, unfortunately, just seems to keep hitting stumbling blocks. So I've had treatment before I left Japan, and I've had some treatment since I've got home, and there's no tear. It was just the cold weather, and unfortunately, not like in a game of football, if you do get a little bit of a calf seize up, you can sit a quarter out and come back. I didn't have a choice but to keep going, and it just got worse and worse and worse where it knotted up. So yeah, look, I honestly think the writing's on the wall, and I knew before going into Lake Biwa that it was going to be a tough ask. I think the question, now is that over the next 10 weeks, do I concede fully or do I go down swinging? And, I'm sort of in 2 minds. I guess, like using a boxing analogy, it's a 10-round fight, and do I do everything I can to just stand on my legs and see the fight out, or do we throw in the towel? So I've got a week to speak to family and some close friends and sponsors to work out what I'm going to do, and regardless of what I do, I mean, the decision has to be mine, and regardless of whether it does happen, which if it does, it'll obviously be a stroke of luck, and if it doesn't, I walk away knowing that I've done everything I can. I've had a wonderful 20-year career representing Geelong and my country, and I'll still continue to run. I love running. I just won't be doing it at the top 0.01%. I'll be doing it 2%, which that's still a fairly good level, and I'll still compete nationally, obviously, but just the international days will be gone.
Just again, if it was to end now, 3-time Olympian, that's something super to have next to your name.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you had said to me, 20 years ago that I'd be going to 3 Olympics, I would have taken 1. And I mean, there's probably a lot of people that thought I wasn't good enough to even make 1, but to go to 3 is a feather in my cap. But it's also a feather in the caps of a lot of people that have supported me. And since the race, and saying that I was possibly going to look at other options and not have another attempt at going to the Olympics, I've been inundated with Facebook messages and emails and phone calls and text messages. And I'll be honest, I'm really overwhelmed because I didn't know through the course of my journey that I'd touched the lives of so many people.
Now we're down to Cardinia Park, where we caught up with Geelong assistant coach Dale Amos about last week's Gold Coast match and look forward to their Richmond clash at Simmons Stadium this Saturday.
Bring back any of the big games this week?
Yeah, I'd say most of our senior players are just about right to go. So 2 to go. I think most of them will be ready to be rolled out, and we've limited their pre-season a little bit with the games just because of the length of the season, the importance of them throughout the year. So, but yeah, most of them will be back this week.
Are there a couple you can say that won't be right to play? I mean, we know like Varka and those guys won't play. What about maybe like Podsy? Is he edging close to playing?
Yeah, I think Podsy and Stevie Johnson, and we haven't a match committee this week, but I think they're getting pretty close and a reasonable chance to play this week or next week. But I think at this stage we're hoping there might be a chance this week.
Good to get a pre-season game at home. It's a bit of a luxury.
Yeah, after the travel was great for us though. We had a lot of young kids play, and great exposure for them to be able to experience an interstate trip. And but yeah, nice to be here. We'll get to experience the wind and the new conditions with no stand here. So yeah, nice to be at home, and nice to be getting close to the start of the season.
Thanks, Dale. And from down here in Newcombe, it's back to you in the studio, Rollo.
Thank you, Mitch, and congratulations and well done, Lee Troop. Let's hope there's still more running in those legs. And now for all the weather expected for Geelong and the Surf Coast over the next 6 days, it's good evening to our scintillating Sophie Miller.
Good evening, Graham. Cooler, windy and wet weather to continue as we take a look at the forecast. Tomorrow, Thursday, will be partly isolated showers until the afternoon with a top of 22. Friday will continue to be partly cloudy with isolated showers clearing with a top of 22. For the weekend, Saturday will be cloudy with the isolated showers from the morning with a top of 22. Sunday will again be cloudy with isolated showers again during the morning with a top of 22. On Monday we can expect sunny conditions and a top of 23, while Tuesday will be partly cloudy with a top of 26. Today we saw partly cloudy periods with isolated showers during the morning with a top of 21. That's the weather outlook for Geelong and the Surf Coast. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and it's back to you, Graham.
Thank you, Sophie. And thank you for joining us on News Geelong. To Laurie Winch, a speedy recovery from all the boys from Laurie's lunch. Enjoy the rehab. And remember, take your time and smell the flowers, Winchy. From all the team at News Geelong, enjoy the rest of the evening and a very good night.